Welcome back to Team New Kent Talks. I'm your proud Superintendent Dr. Nichols. This is the podcast where we share the best of Team New Kent, where we highlight students, families, staff, and community. And boy, do we have an incredible episode for you today. Today, you're going to get to know our school social workers who are amazing and do incredible work to support our students, our families, and our community. So excited to have on the show today Pam Brooks, who's one of our school social workers, and also Stella Follett. They're going to talk about their specific work. Also incredibly important to the team, but not with us today, is Carolyn Kelley. So we'll talk about the work of all of our school social workers and the resources available to our families, to our students, and our community. I learned a lot in this episode, and I know you will too. Enjoy.
All right, thank you guys for being here today. I'm excited for this conversation. So let's just start with introduction.
Hi, Pam Brooks, school social worker.
All right.
I am Stella Follett. I am the school social worker for the high school.
All right. And Carolyn Kelley is also part of our team. She's not with us today, so hence maybe she's here with us in spirit. So excited to talk about what you guys do, because what you do is so multifaceted and changes every day. But we absolutely couldn't do this work without you. So for those that may not be familiar with the role of a school social worker, can you walk us through what your day-to-day looks like? As I just said, it's never the same, but what are some of the things that you do?
It's kind of like a running joke. No 2 days look the same. We often laugh that our to-do list is often just pushed aside and gone and forgotten about by 8:15. You never know what the day brings, but overall we are basically the support crew. So aside from focusing on attendance, we really focus on making sure that these students can be successful and well holistically. So whatever that looks like, the high schoolers come in and ask me all the time, what do you do here? So the best way I describe that to them is, if a student is struggling, we find out why, and then we put in supports to address that why. So overall, we just look out for the kids the best that we can, and either that's from home to schools, just how can we best support them and their families to make sure they're successful and comfortable here.
Nice. Pam, you want to add to that?
Sure. For my, I also am assigned to New Kent Elementary School and the middle school. And so some of my littles, when I introduce myself and, well, what, are you a teacher here? No, I'm a school social worker. Well, what is that?
Mm-hmm.
I often say, well, I'm a helper. If a student is struggling that day, I can help, so things like that. So we assist with the special education process from the very beginning. We start and participate in student support team meetings so that we can help put interventions with the rest of the school team in to help the student be successful everywhere, at home and at school. We provide families with a lot of community resources, just those wraparound services. We just want every student in our buildings to be as successful as they can, both at school and out of school.
Absolutely. It's funny you mentioned how you describe what you do. People have no idea what a superintendent does, and honestly, sometimes I don't either. But I say I help people. Like, if somebody needs help, that's my role, as I'm going to provide the help. Ms. Brooks, you also serve, in addition to school social worker, you have some other duties and responsibilities. So you're also our homeschool coordinator and our military family liaison, of which we have 2 Purple Star distinguished schools. Can you tell us more about those roles?
Sure. So as the homeschool coordinator for the school division, Virginia has a homeschool law that states that parents who are homeschooling and choose that route of education for their children have to notify the school. So they have to provide me a notice of intent form every year and some documentation that goes along with that. Then the division level military liaison, again, it's often fielding information. Families that may be moving in the summer, because I'm a year-round employee.
Right.
I'm here all year. They can contact me at any time during the summer also. They just want to know, what schools they will be going to, they want to know about New Kent schools in the community, and I will provide them with the military liaisons if they're at the middle school or high school, who that is.
Absolutely. So you mentioned some resources that available. Are there any specific resources that you think military families should know about?
The one specific resource that I just found out about a couple months ago is called Mended Sparrow, and it's located in Mechanicsville.
Okay.
And it's an equine-based therapy.
Oh, wow.
Like not even like a half an hour from us. So it's very close by, and it's a free service to military members, veterans, and actually first responders.
I think if we do have military families that are watching this episode, on our website, there's a whole list of resources and supports too.
Yes. Yeah. And also through their bases,
yes,
there's a list of military sources, such as through the military, they have a tutoring online program that's available, and a lot of other various supports. But again, if they're not familiar with those, please reach out to your school and ask to talk to the school social worker, and we will be happy to let you know about it.
Absolutely. We have some big plans with our military families coming up this year. So stay tuned, social media, this podcast, and wherever else. Okay, Ms. Follett, you're also our Foster Care Liaison. What unique challenges do students in foster care face, and how do you really work to support them?
Yeah, so this is a role I'm actually new to, but it's been a joy so far. Some unique challenges, as everybody else knows, 2 stories are the same.
Mm-hmm.
But specifically for our foster care kiddos, it's important to know that sometimes their pasts and their stories might be a little rougher than some we're used to. So it's important to remember that, you have some families and kiddos who might have are from school to school, from family to family. So those transitions are kind of hard.
Mm-hmm.
And so that transfers into the school system with, trying to find one themselves at this age, and also that sense of community, because if they're pulled, from location to location, that's hard. So one of the ways that we best support them is just really building that connection with them, and keeping them on our radar. How are they doing in school? How is their attendance? What ways can we help make these transitions just easier for them? And as they're maybe starting new again for who knows how many times, just making sure that they know they have these resources and these people to connect with to make sure that they're okay.
Yeah. So we talked about some of our students that may be struggling, but also we have families in need, and you guys do a ton with our families. So they could be struggling with housing, food insecurity, other hardships. I don't think people realize how much the school and school social workers specifically support our families outside of these walls. But they're not sure where to turn. So that's probably one of our biggest challenges, is people not sharing, which I understand that. What would you want them to know?
I really want families to know that when you call the school and ask to speak with the school social worker, it is a confidential call. Just because we work for the school does not mean we tell everybody in the school building your business, because we do not. So when families call me and I have a conversation, whether it's they're not used to struggling and they've had a major medical illness in the family, and insurance doesn't cover everything, and they've got all these bills, and so now they're having financial issues. And as we all know, food's expensive, gas is now expensive. It's just kind of crazy right now. So, there's some families that I talk to that have never been willing to ask or had to ask for help before. And so I tell them that, look, this conversation is confidential. I do not tell anybody else in the school building, except if I think I need to share that with somebody else in the school building, I will ask their permission.
Yeah. But I think like our faith-based community are great partners.
Absolutely.
And you guys really kind of have the key and the roadmap and all the connections on what is available to families. So it's great if our families are having difficulty or know somebody having difficulty to kind of start with you guys.
Right. And just like school supplies.
Yeah.
If there's a financial situation going on this year for your family that you've never had before, and you need help with school supplies and you're really struggling because they're expensive, just reach out to us and we can help you out with that.
You mentioned DSS, so that's Department of Social Services, who partners part of New Kent County. But are there specific resources or programs through New Kent County Public Schools that families may not be aware of?
Yes. This year, actually in October, the school division was kind enough to partner with parentguidance.org, and it is available on our website. So you just go to the newkentschools.org. Go to the menu under for families. It's under student wellness and support. And that is a confidential resource for families. The school division gets no information about what families use it. I think we only just get how many families use it. And it is a great resource for parents. There's webinars on several mental health diagnoses. There's a option for a parent coach that you can meet online with. There's just tons of education about parenting. As all of us know, there's no handbook on parenting.
Right.
Even if you have older children, most of the time when you have more than one child, 2 or 3 of them are not the same, and you have to parent them differently. So it's just a resource to give to parents for some guidance.
Yeah.
And it's been a great resource. I really like it. And I just want to get the word out about that one.
Absolutely. And it's free to families. And as you mentioned, all we have access to is how many, just so we can keep track of the usage of it. But I mean, you're right. Being a parent is tough.
It is tough.
It's not easy.
It is tough. And maybe things were going great until your child was 12, but then puberty hits and you have to parent differently. And
7th grade hits. Like something in 7th grade. It's just,
it's just not easy to be a parent. And I don't want parents to be ashamed or apprehensive of talking to the school about the struggles, because there's so many people in the school building that can help and assist. And I just want our community to know that. The other thing that we have is we have what's called our New Kent County Public School Counseling Resource Guide.
Yep.
And this resource guide was made from families telling all of us what agencies or therapists and counselors they've used that they've really liked, and it's been successful.
Nice.
So that's where that came from. And we just add on every year as families tell us, oh, this counselor is really good. We've been working with them. So it's just a helpful guide, and it's a helpful starting point, because dealing with your child's behaviors sometimes is overwhelming, or there's a lot of family stress going on, and counseling is there to assist with that.
What do you hope students and families take away from knowing that this kind of support exists within their own school community?
Yeah, I think aside from, just the general awareness of everything that's available, I hope it offers a sense of relief to students and families, one, knowing that they really aren't alone. We touched on every story and family is unique. So you have people here to help you. And, there's zero judgment. It's what we're here for. And that's what we hope, we want is for you guys, let us help you. So yeah, overall that relief, you're not alone. There is, somebody in your corner.
As we talked about today, this work is deeply meaningful, but at the same time emotionally draining. So would you share kind of what keeps you going?
Seeing the impact of what we do come to life is just, it's a dream.
Yeah.
I know, specifically for me at the high school, I get to be somebody who I didn't have.
Yeah.
And who I needed. And so that's a blessing in itself. But, again, seeing that impact come to life. Again, personally at the high school, I've had kiddos who are on the verge of just dropping out and being done. They're overwhelmed, calling it quits, becoming involved, and then having them come into my office, put cap and gown.
Yeah.
It just blurs all the bad days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it's about.
Absolutely.
It's been great. It's been great to see the impact with the families that maybe I met when their student or one of their students was in elementary or middle. And then I'm hearing like one family that I've worked with for over 10 years on and off, their oldest just graduated this year, and there's a middle schooler and there's another elementary schooler. So just the relationships I've been able to build with the families in the community since I've been here such a long time. So when you walk through it with people, in their greatest time of stress and need. And you're able to help them go through and get to the other side. It just builds lifelong, lasting relationships,
Absolutely.
which has been really great to be a part of.
So it's not lost to me that you could do this work anywhere. You're incredibly talented, incredibly smart, and you choose to do it here, which we're very thankful for. But please tell us why Team New Kent is here.
Well, there's a couple reasons why I choose to be at New Kent. I started my career a long time ago working in residential.
Okay.
And one of the things that my residential kids would always say to me and were scared of when they left residential or the group home and returned home was, I don't want to go back to my public school. So in the back of my mind, I always knew that I was eventually going to end up in a public school at some point. The other issue of why New Kent is, I personally grew up in Western New York in a small town.
Yeah.
I love it. I love that part. This is the first time I've lived in the community that I've worked in my career. And it's been great, and I've enjoyed every minute of it.
Absolutely.
I chose New Kent for a couple of reasons. Again, I love the small town feel because I did grow up in a smaller town. I grew up in a one-light town. But I also coached here for a few years. I coached the soccer team, and that made me fall in love with this place. And it just worked out so perfectly. I was graduating in the winter of 2024, and they had just opened a position for social work. And originally it was between here and Henrico. I applied at Henrico as well. But I don't know, just felt like home here.
Yeah.
And it still feels like home.
So, speaking of soccer, congratulations.
Yeah.
Our first trip
Yeah.
to our first region trophy and our first trip to the state.
Woo-hoo.
So,
Thank you.
social worker, soccer coach, extraordinary.
The girls earned it. They did wonderful this year.
Well, I can't thank you guys enough for choosing us and continue to choose us, and even more importantly, the work you do for our families. I know what I know about the work you do is the tip of the iceberg, and all the other work you do to support them. So I'm excited for people to see your work, and if you have need anything or have a concern or a question, these guys are an incredible resource. So thank you.
Attendance matters. Your attendance matters. Bring your kids to school. Good attendance is good.
That's all for today's episode of Team New Kent Talks. I want to thank Ms. Brooks and Ms. Follett for being on the show today and sharing all of the resources and the work they do, and also Ms. Kelley for the incredible work that she does. If this episode resonated with you, or you find yourself in need of resources, please contact your school social worker. They will connect you to everything you need. And remember, don't miss a single episode of Team New Kent Talks. Make sure you subscribe, and we look forward to seeing you next time.